Well, hello, my beautiful Aquarians. How are you, my gorgeous ones? So, as you can tell, I'm feeling better, and I bet you guys are feeling better. So, you guys were the second most viewed video, so I'm going to go ahead and put yours out. Sagittarius seems to be way ahead of everybody else, so they're going to get a very extended reading, both astrology and tarot. So, for you guys, I want to thank you guys for doing that. I really appreciate it. So I bet you're feeling better. Some things have come about, maybe a few little nuggets, little gifts. Some money may have come in. Things are the outlook, and you're feeling better because you can kind of see it. I know you get in your head and you're like, well, you got to make sure. Don't want to get too excited about something if it's not going to come true, because over the last years it hadn't come true, right? And that's okay. That's okay. Spirit understands. So, I apologize for my new moon or full moon video in Gemini. I realized that I wasn't on the other screen, so everywhere I was pointing, you guys weren't seeing it, so I apologize. So, let's talk about December. December is going to be a very interesting month for everyone, but let's talk about you, Aquas. So, December 1st, we have Mars in Pisces. So, Mars has moved out of your sign. Mars was in your sign for a long time. And now it's moved into your money house. Now it's moved into the money that you earn, the valuables that you have, the value that you have of yourself, right? And it's now at 10 degrees. So I don't want to talk too much about degrees, but I'm going to talk a little bit because there's some other poignant degrees. So Mars is doing its job in your second house. That's why I'm saying you probably got some things coming through, and on the 1st of December, it's going to be conjunct Neptune, which is Neptune is that bigger energy. Neptune is that spiritual, intuitive, and it's in Pisces, its own sign right now. It's a place where you guys, Aquarians, can really manifest out of thin air. You absolutely can do it out of thin air. I know you have Saturn here in your 12th house, and you've been working really hard on that, but especially with, oh, you know what? I just got this. I know a lot of you Aquas that know how to manifest, but you say it's like a lot of energy that you got to put into it, right? And only Aquas are going to understand this. Or if you've got a lot of Aqua in you, you're going to understand it. With Mars there, that will give you or let me say this differently. You say it's a lot of energy that you have to put into it, but what you mean is there's a lot of force that needs to go into it for you to manifest like that big stuff that you see. And maybe one day I'll be able to teach you how to do it a different way. But I'm seeing that with Mars in here, in this Neptunian, in your second house with Pisces, you can manifest things out of thin air, and Mars will give you the force to do it. So even though Mars is about me, Neptune is about we, right? You can balance that energy and manifest something. You absolutely can. I know I've been doing it. So I hope you understand that. Okay, that kind of got off topic, but I just got that. I wanted you guys to know, because so those of you that are understanding, you'll know what to do. Okay, so December 1st, Mars is in Pisces. It'll be in Pisces all month. Use that energy. It will begin on its own, right? So you won't have to direct it so much by the degree of, I say 23rd, 24th degree up to the 30th, right? But now that it's conjunct Neptune, you can just, I don't know how to say this, focus it. You'll understand. Focus it, focus that force, and manifest stuff. I know you can do this. So I don't know why I keep saying that, but I know a lot of you can do this. Okay, so let me get back to this. Mars is in Pisces all month. So Mars is going to give you force in that second house, the house of value, the house of the money that you earn, the values that you keep, the valuables that you have around you. Neptune is in there. Use those two. Mercury is retrograde still by this point, December 1st, because I'm doing this on the 24th. They are taking me a little bit more time to get out because I'm translating these into different languages. So to write the transcript and then to get those translated, it does take longer to get these out. So just bear with me. So Mercury's retrograde It is in Scorpio, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And this is all on December 1st. And then Venus is in Libra, okay? Now, what I really want to talk about is that we have 3 planets at 29 degrees. And this is where I'm going to talk about the degree. I think 29 degrees, and they're called anaretic degrees. I think 29 degrees and us having 3 planets there, there's this change, powerful change, important, very important stuff going on, and it's going to be in different areas for different signs, right? Like, you guys know I'm ascending Aquarius, right? And I'm 29 degrees Aquarius, but I have Uranus at 29 degrees, so it's going to affect me a lot. So we're going to have Mercury at 29 degrees on the 1st, we're going to have Venus at 29 degrees on the 1st, and we're going to have Uranus at 29 degrees on the 1st, okay? So with these 3 planets that are very important to us right now, this is the planet of change. Uranus is the planet of change. He likes to come shift things, shock and awe, and liberate you. Like, eventually, if you let it go and understand, you're like, oh yeah, when you look back at that stuff, you're like, if that wouldn't have happened, if that change that I thought was bad, it wouldn't have happened, because some of you think it's bad, some of you don't, this would have never happened, right? That's Uranus making that shift. It is in opposition to Venus. You guys know Venus is the planet of love, luck, and money, right? So it's at 29 degrees in its home sign, right? So if any of you, and then we have Mercury at 29 degrees in Scorpio. If any of you have 29 degrees of these 3 planets in your natal chart, and you can go to astro.com, you can go to astrocafe.com to, you know, put in your birth date, birth time, birth location, and you can get your chart, right? And if you see that you have any of these 3 planets, you're going to be really affected by this, okay? But let me explain to you what's going on. So Venus, the planet of love, luck, and money, this is in your area of, if you look here, 12, 11, 10, 9, of belief, of understanding, of higher knowledge, of the connection, the spiritual connection, the connection to your higher self. You can actually manifest money here. You can actually manifest love here. You can actually manifest luck here, right? But it's in opposition to Uranus, right? Uranus is in your 3rd house. This is skills that you've learned, skills that you're making, skills that you're learning. You could be dealing with neighbors, siblings, what else did I write? Neighbors and siblings. In your 3rd house, you could be dealing with neighbors and siblings and co-workers, computer skills, administration stuff. And at this time with Uranus in there, remember, it is retrograde, so it's having you look within, it's having you amend, it's having you readjust something having to do with any of these issues or any of these any of these things, like your coworkers. It also has to do with short travel. So if you've wanted to do short travel and you're trying to figure out how to do short travel and you haven't had the money to do short travel, and even if you don't have 29 degrees, at 29 degrees, if some of you have any of these planets at 29 degrees, you're going to feel it the most. It doesn't mean that if you don't have it, you're not going to feel it. It just means those people are going to feel it the most. Like, I have Uranus at 29 degrees. I have it in my 7th house. And so 29 degrees and 29 degrees here in opposition, there's something that you're having to readjust. And by this, I mean, maybe you've been wanting to take short travel, or maybe you've been wanting to learn this new skill, and maybe you've been wanting to figure this out with a sibling, or help a sibling out, or helping you out, or maybe a skill you're trying to learn and you hadn't had the funds for it, you hadn't had the time for it, you didn't know how you were going to do it. When Venus comes in here and it is opposing, you could now find money coming in for that, or somebody helps you out so that you can do that new skill, or all of a sudden you have not just the money, but the time to be able to take the short travel, the short vacation, or to see the family, or whatever this is for you, or dealing with your neighbors or dealing with your siblings, right? Now, it is conjunct Mercury. Mercury is the processor. Mercury is also in retrograde, so this is about you, right? Mercury is processing. Mercury is retrograde, so there's some adjustment, amending, something going on within you to process all the stuff that's going on. And this is in your 10th house, sorry. So 12, 11, 10th. So this has to do with your work as well. The 10th house is about your work, your accolades maybe, your life purpose. So there's Mercury is quincunx. Okay, so he's quincunx Uranus. So as much as you see this opposition with Venus, it's going to bring you an opportunity. Uranus wants to shift this. So this new skill, something's going to change. Something's going to change if you've had an issue with your neighbors or your siblings, or this new skill that you're trying to learn, or you're getting inspiration of some sort. You could actually have genius stuff come through here, like all of a sudden you just like, and you guys are known for this too, like you can go into the future to other realms and sort of get stuff and bring it back, right? And so in this third house, with it being activated, there's something within you where Venus makes it possible to get this done, to have this happen, but you're going to maybe not feel like you're seeing it clearly, right? Or maybe you're like, it feels kind of off, and that's because Mercury is quincunx Uranus, right? So maybe you think it's going to go one way and Uranus shifts it in another way, and it turns out to be the best, but you're like, I thought I saw it, but I didn't see it the right way. And then you think it's not coming, but it's coming. Does that make sense? Because of this quincunx. So there's a processing going on. There's this, it could be miscommunication. It could be that somebody says they want to help you and you heard that they didn't want to help you, you know, when they really did want to help you, right? Could be that this money's trying to come in for you, but you won't answer the phone. Or it could be, or that they can't get through in an email, or that you're not reading all your emails, or that you're not, like, it could be something like that, having to do with your work, having to do with a new skill. So a lot of you have started new businesses. A lot of you are looking to start new businesses. And then with this Venus, yeah, so Venus is in your 9th house. So with Venus in your 9th house, there is this inspiration and also travel. So I feel like a lot of you could be traveling, because the 3rd house is short travel, the 9th house is long distance travel. Maybe you're trying to, maybe you'll do both. Maybe you're trying to figure out a way. Like, I know I'm planning to be in another country in the summer. So like something like that could be coming about, where all of a sudden you have the funds, or you see the way, or, but with this quincunx and it Mercury retrograde, remember, it's going to be powerful for everyone. But if you have a 29 degree, if you were born with 29 degree Mercury, especially in retrograde, it's really going to like cause some processing. This processing may be that you finally see that you're being helped with your life purpose, or with, like, maybe you get accolades, or maybe somebody's trying to give you accolades and you're not seeing it, or you're not getting the message because of this Mercury retrograde, right? Because it's quincunx, this Uranus. So there's something going on where there's a miscommunication, or there's something not going right, but it's going to come. Either way, it's going to come. It just may not come exactly like you see it. So it's going to come because that's 29 degrees. All right, so that's happening on the 1st. That's just the 1st. Then on the 2nd, and I promised I wouldn't go far. Then on the 2nd, I just thought that was really important. Then on the 2nd, Venus enters Scorpio. So Venus is going to enter Scorpio. So that again is in your 10th house. This whole next month, you probably already started for you guys, but this whole next month, I'm seeing more money. I'm seeing you're at the right place at the right time. I'm seeing you're getting the accolades. I'm seeing that people even come to you that you didn't know that you help, and they want to help you. Or I'm seeing that, I don't know, like somebody sees you and really believes in you and brings you this opportunity. Like, I'm seeing that for you in the month of December. And I'm telling you guys, this is going to set the precedence for this next 2019, for this in December. Over the next 8, 10, 12 years for some of you, it's just going to be very different than it has been. So right now, and I'm going to do another video about this, but we've had to work so hard at not manifesting out of thin air, like it wasn't working. We had to learn how to manifest in the physical, like the physical hard work of it. And this is all in culmination, because what happens in January and February and March, it's about the balance of those things that are going to come about. It's about you're able to do this. How do I say this? So you can manifest things out of thin air, but then are they going to stay, right? And what you were learning over the last 3, 5, 8 years was how to manifest something and then make it stick. Learning to do the hard work and see things through, right? Now that you've learned, some of you needed to learn that part. Others of you needed to learn how to manifest out of thin air. Others of you needed to learn how to work it and really stick to your gun so that it stayed and grounded in this physical realm. Does that make sense? I know I'm going way off, but I'm going to do a video about that, but it's in all, this is like all these new beginnings happening, because this next year and then the next year, your lives are going to be very different. So Venus enters there. So I see more opportunity. I see luck. I see money. I see some of you guys, even love may come. I know that's like the last thing on your whatever list. It's like, yeah, I want it, but whatever. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come right now. It'll eventually come, right? So if it's your time, everybody's chart's different. If it's your time and they could come and you don't want to. I mean, that's kind of up to you. But I can kind of see maybe you meet somebody through what you're doing in your life purpose, or through some accolades that you have, or through your career, and they're your friends at first, right? But you like that anyway. So that's on the 2nd. Then the 7th is a really important day too. So the 7th, we have a lot of stuff going on. So on the 7th, we have this new moon in Sagittarius, right? So this new moon in Sagittarius is going to be in your 11th house. I see influential people. New moons are about new beginnings. You guys know I have the new moon video and the full moon video, and I'll explain that in those videos. I'll go deeper into it. But Sagittarius is a very optimistic sign, so these are going to be very optimistic starts. You have Jupiter in your 11th house, where it's groups, it's networking, it's going to the next level. You have influential people that are watching you, so be very careful. You have influential people that are watching to see if you're worth investing, that come to believe in you, right? And that's with Jupiter. That Jupiter is going to be doing that all year in this house for you. So your groups are getting bigger. You're going to get more known. Those of you that are we've talked about this before, entertainment, business, music, acting, all of that, it's going to get bigger. And Jupiter's going to help in this house. But this new moon is in Sagittarius. So this new beginning is very optimistic. It's making, and I always say this about Sagittarius, but it's like something that you didn't know is going to come about to start this new beginning. But you guys don't just have one beginning, you have several beginnings. Like from now until January, several beginnings, and especially December. Okay? So not only that, Mercury goes direct. So on that day, Mercury goes direct. He's still going to be in your 10th house. This is where it's still going to be a little off with this quincunx here, right? But this is your 10th house. So Mercury brings a message to your 10th house. Venus being in there, they're not conjunct yet, but I can see where Mercury helps you understand maybe exactly how you're going to do this with your life purpose, or what you're going to do with this accolade, or what you're going to do with this being known, or what you're going to do with your next step. Like, I can see that processing there, right? And so that happens on the 7th. So Mercury goes direct. Your Mercury's not going to get to that point where it's real clear and you've done everything you needed to do with Mercury since it's being retrograde till December 17th. But going direct is going to help you see more clearly, okay? It's going to bring a message. It's going to help you process something. It's going to do that in your 10th house, right? Could be that that day, whoever this influential person is or this group is, maybe they offer you something. Maybe they come to you and talk to you. Maybe you get a message, okay? So that's also on the 7th. And then we have, so I did say the new moon. But this moon is really interesting because it is conjunct, almost, I guess. So it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be at 15 degrees. So 15, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, it's right around there. So, yeah, I mean, it could be conjunct. I like my conjunctions at 8 degrees or less. But it is conjunct Jupiter on that day on the 7th. So it is conjunct Jupiter. So whatever this news is, whatever this new start is, this is going to help you expand your group, expand your 10th house. It's going to help you get to that next level, right? And that's happening on the 7th. And then on the 13th, see the 13th. I'm just making sure I've got. Oh, let me make sure I've got everything on the 7th. So I also want to say that on the 7th we have that grand water trine. So if you look here, remember Mercury's in Scorpio. We have Chiron. That's that old wound in Pisces, and we have the North Node in Cancer, right? So that's a grand water trine where it's been there for a while, but it's going to grand trine at that point. So I feel opportunity. This is a gift coming from, spirit, your guides, your angels, your higher self. This will be felt on an emotional level. So this is a big day for a lot of you. Also, this new moon is going to square, if you look here, Neptune and Mars in your 2nd house are direct, right on top of each other on that day. So if you've focused this energy, there's something coming in your 2nd house. There's money, there's valuables, there's the value to yourself. Maybe you get this recognition over here and you understand the value of who you really are and what you're going to do with that, right? Maybe you get this message from this group or this influential person in this new beginning. It's a square, so it feels like a lot of pressure. But if you've used this correctly, if you've centered yourself, this is why I told you guys in the full moon. Clear yourself. That's what I want you to do with this full moon. Clear yourself, stay centered so that you accept the gifts. You accept the expansion. You accept the stuff. Let go of what no longer serves you so you have enough energy, so you have enough room in your energetic field to accept this. This is no longer about it being in your head and just having the faith. This is about it showing up. It's beginning to show up for the next year, okay? So there's this square here of Neptune and Mars. And in your 2nd house, if a lot of you, entertainment, because your 10th house is activated, I've felt a lot of you, if you're in the entertainment business, if you're an actor, if you're even just a public speaker or something that you do in the public eye, this could be a chance for you to go to the next level. When you use this me and we, this Mars and Neptune energy, if you use it in balance and you're correct and you're centered and you know what you want, or you think you know what you want, right? And you're willing to accept whatever comes in, and you have trust in yourself and trust in the universe, this is where it gets bigger, okay? So that's what I want. The 7th is a big day, but it's not just going to be the 7th. Some of y'all are going to feel it on the 5th and 6th. Some of y'all will feel it on the 8th and 9th. Some of y'all will feel it right on the 7th, okay? So then we have the 13th. So on the 13th, Mercury enters Sagittarius. So on the 13th, Mercury is entering Sagittarius. There's a message again. So there was a message for your 10th house, for your life purpose, your accolades. I feel like a lot of you get accolades. So accolades, some recognition of some sort. Then Mercury is going to move into Sagittarius. It's going to be there all month. And there's going to be news and news and news coming to you as it gets closer to Jupiter, as it gets closer to the sun, It's going to be very optimistic. This is a good time now. This is about groups, networking. If you work on the internet, if you work with people on the internet, if you work in groups, maybe you start new groups, maybe you get notice of a new group, maybe you're, like, even if you do YouTube, maybe you get new followers, a new group, right? So Mercury's moving into Sagittarius, right? Making the unknown known, bringing in messages, and that happens on the 13th. Now, again, this is not, the results may be new stuff, but this is stuff you've worked on because Mercury was retrograde, right? It's been retrograde. And so, again, it's not going to clear up till the 24th, right? The 24th is when it's exactly where it began to retrograde, okay? So, then on the 22nd, the sun enters Scorpio, all right? But Mercury is right on top of Jupiter, so there's some news in your 11th house. You have Venus in your 10th house. This is all about you getting the things that you've worked so hard for. The sun comes and is entering Capricorn, which is your 12th house. There are some completions. There's, the 12th house is about the connection between your life, this world, and other worlds, your past, present, and future lives. Something is coming through. The sun is going to be shining in that house. It's going to be clearing things up. You're going to have some completions. This is where fate and destiny steps in. And as it gets closer to Saturn, these things that you have been working so hard on that you didn't know what it was because it's in your 12th house, right? Maybe you got dreams, maybe you got inspirations, maybe you had some synchronicities, maybe you connected to your higher self and got some clarity. But when the sun comes, it's about these things going to the next step. And some of them actually completing your past karma, for those of you that believe in karma, and it's too difficult to explain right now. But those of you, it could be about completing something that you had been trying to complete for the longest time and didn't know how to do this, right? As the sun gets closer to Capricorn. I mean, Saturn. It's in Capricorn. So whatever you've been trying to ground, whatever you've been trying to work on, it's going to get cleared up. Everything sort of aligns when the sun comes in there, right? You may feel like you're not seeing it right because the sun is in your 12th house. But if you dream, or if in that place where you go to, where you have your innovations, or you go into the future and look, you can get some clarity in there, okay? So that's on the 22nd. Then we have the full moon in Cancer on that day, right? So we know the full moon is about, and I'll have the full moon video. The full moon is about shining light in this area, seeing something that you hadn't seen before, right? This is in your 6th house. Something is going to get shown to you, illuminated, so that you can release what no longer serves you. And I feel like it's releasing the fact that you're no longer in that phase of your life, that you're now moving into the phase that you've seen for a long time, right? That's what I'm feeling for a lot of you, because this is very nurturing. So your 6th house, your consciousness, your 6th house, 12th house subconscious, 6th house conscious, this full moon, yeah, there's something that's going to be let go and released. And I feel like it's because of all these changes, okay? But I'll have the full moon video. So that's also on the 22nd. And that'll be happening at 9:46 Pacific Standard Time. Then the 25th, I mean, I'm in the 27th to the 31st, but the 25th, you could have this sextile here, which is Pluto and Venus, and this square here. There's not a lot going on, and it is Christmas. So, I mean, there's a lot going on, but there's not a lot happening. There is the square here with the moon for just a little bit. So there's something in your 7th house with relationships, but you are going to be dealing with family. With this pressure, I feel like, remember, if you have this pressure because of this square, the way to release the pressure is to take an action, right? Either, and this has to do with relationships, and your belief system, right? So, I'm sorry, your relationships and your work. So, maybe it's collaborating with someone. Maybe it's a new person that you're going to be doing something with, right? And maybe you have to do some work with this. And then the Mercury is going to trine, and this is just for a little while because the moon moves a lot. But this is just for a little bit. Mercury's going to trine the moon. And so there's an opportunity here with, and this is in your house of groups. I feel like influential people, I feel like these groups where you can get a message, and I feel like this is collaboration, or somebody helps you, or you want to help somebody, or both of you guys are doing this together to help each other, right? That's what I feel like. Remember, Jupiter's trying to grow this house. But on the 27th, so the 27th through the 31st, this is where the Sun is conjunct Saturn. So this is really important. This is what I talked about before. As the Sun enters Capricorn, these things that you're trying to ground, you're trying to understand, you're trying to figure out which way you want to go with this. You're trying to, like, you see these things, but how am I going to do this? And can I get out of my own way? And this is what you've all been working for, right? When the Sun comes in here, I feel like you're going to get some clarity with Saturn, whatever this Saturn you've been working on all last summer, even in the spring, trying to figure it out, trying to make the move, getting out of your own way, getting out of the head, doing the action. I feel like finally you get some relief, and I feel like a lot of you fate and destiny come in. I feel like what I feel is, when this happens, you feel like you're supported by the universe. Finally. That's what I feel. And that's from the 27th through the 31st and beyond, but I'm not going to talk about January yet. In January, you have some big things going on. Yeah. And I think that's it. Yep. That's all I wanted to say about that. Yep, that's it. Okay, so I pulled cards for you guys already, and I pulled 3 cards. The first card is about where you're at in the beginning of December, and we have the Ace of Swords. This is you. This is a new start. This start comes from nowhere, but again, I feel like by December 1st, you've already had some starts. I feel like by the 1st, this is just another new start. So I feel like the theme of December is these new beginnings for you, these things that are actually happening, and they're coming from nowhere. I mean, you really know where they're coming from, but like, you don't see them coming, and then they come, and somebody wants to help you, and this really takes off, and I feel like that. Now, I asked Spirit, what is the most important message that they want to bring to you, and they gave you the Fool. So the Fool, you know, I love the Fool. A lot of energy. You can think of it as that Mars energy, focusing it into that Neptune energy, right? There's a lot of energy at 0 point energy. And so I feel like what Spirit is saying is that this is like a blank slate. You get to go from here. You've done all the hard work. You've done a lot of hard work. You tried to figure things out. You didn't do anything wrong. Staying in your head wasn't a bad thing. You did that for a reason, to try to figure things out. You got over that. You're letting go of stuff. You're taking action. This is a clean slate for you guys. With these new beginnings, it's a Swords. It's not a Pentacles, which means, you know by now, if you don't put the work in, it's not going to stay, and it's not going to ground. It can come to you, but whatever you do with it, that's the decision that you make to make it last, to make it solid, to make it stable, to make it flourish. Then it will become a Pentacles. It's a Swords, meaning you can let it go, meaning it comes from nowhere, meaning as fast as it comes in, it can leave too, okay? So that's what they're saying about the blank slate. You have a lot of energy that you can put into these things, and that's kind of up to you. You get to decide. It's like a blank slate. Then I asked what the result would be, and you got the Page of Cups. So the Page of Cups, to me, as much as these things are going to be coming to you all month and have been beginning to come to you, these are just the beginnings. They may feel like a lot because we haven't had a lot in so long. We haven't had any in so long, right? But these are just the beginning. That's why it's a page. That's why it's an ace. That's why it's a full. It's the full. Because these are just the beginning. You're just starting to go on this particular journey. The page brings you news of something that's emotionally felt. But remember, these are the beginnings. What are you going to do with this? Are you going to bury it? Are you going to let it go? Or are you going to work in it? Right? So that's the message I'm getting. I want to thank you so very much for liking, sharing, subscribing. We finally hit 30,000. My goal this year is to hit over 100,000 by the end of 2019. See if we can do it. So if you can like, share, and subscribe, that would really, really help me out. And I will see you soon. Love you, love you, love you. Bye.